Hello everyone, I am Alka193 and welcome to today's Duel video. Before the duel starts, I want to give you a little preview of something that I'm going to talk about after the end of the duel, so please stick around for then. Because after the World Championships from last month and some other things, I really wanted to get back into the meta, which in turn means a lot more duel videos and potentially me even going for judge on Dueling Book. That would be cool. But I don't know the meta well and I wanted to give myself a way to learn it. And I think for me to keep the enjoyment in Yu-Gi-Oh! And playing it in the meantime, I started up a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament server on Discord, run by myself. But none of them are standard tournaments. They all have this really special rule set that I'm going to detail at the end. So if you're interested in any Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament servers with special rules and special formats where a lot of cards just actually aren't allowed, just wait for the details at the end of this. Please enjoy the duel. Alrighty, and for this duel, I am using a deck that I've used before, although in slightly different variant, although you won't really notice much as it is burn deck. I find it pretty easy to use, so that is why I go to it pretty often. It's also why I entered with it in 8A YCS number 1, an online YCS tournament hosted by Harmonic Souls, which I actually reached top 8 with this deck, although it was a slightly changed variant, although I slightly altered it throughout the tournament because that was allowed in. I really didn't alter it much in Swiss, but I slightly altered it before top card because then you had to really set your deck and you couldn't change it. To hopefully, I expected a bunch of Salamangreats, so I put a bit more counter to Salamangreats in there. This is back to the basics of what I had. Let's see if they have something like an Ash Blossom. Give them a few seconds. Go. See what we get rid of. One card of demise. Chain check's not that bad actually. Alright. How many reckless did we get rid of? One reckless, so there's still one reckless in the deck. Two backjacks, so that's just gonna be a set. Reckless Barrel. Ring of Destruction is nice to have, get rid of anything they have. Dimension Wall's gonna go all the way over there. And then the two destruction, two damage things, and then Reckless is close to the deck because it draws. I don't always do this, sometimes this makes it a little easier to remember, put them in a certain order. Like I might have put the draw thing here and then put some other things like Balance of Judgment here. Actually, that's still a draw card. But, yeah, there's... Wait, what? They didn't reveal it beforehand. They drew a card shuffled. I don't believe that you missed it, because Shuffle Hand will reveal the card is here, approximately here. Shuffle Hand is over here. I don't believe you. Now I can't confirm whether you actually got the card or not. It would be awesome if you did, because it's pretty much never happened to me. But go for it. I want to see what you have. I don't believe them. I have a pretty large suspicion that they had it in their opening hand and are doing this to get away from it. Like, if this was rated, I would not allow it. Yay, they're going for Taki! For Neo Taki. That's gonna be big damage Ring of Destruction. That is awesome. Yeah, Ring of Destruction is already 45. Wait, if I just wouldn't have Backjack on the field, or if the normal summon to get rid of Backjack, attack me, Dimension Wall, and then can I Ring of Destruction then? No, I can't. Maybe so I just Ring of Destruction on him? Negate the effects of all face off good in the field as you put act cards effects on the field. Wait, Dragon Treasure? They're using something like 7th one and then Dragon Treasure, what? Okay. That is an interesting way to go about it. Go for it. Okay. Now I'm confused. The normal summon. I'm gonna destroy Tachyon now. We both take 45. Otherwise 48, which I wouldn't have complained about. The less life points, I want to say HP, the Pokemon. The less damage, the less... There is no replay because the amount of targets or the potential targets didn't change. So the attack continues. Only they lost cards, nothing changed for me. So that's backjack effect. Letting me check the top 3 cards of my deck. Put them back in any order. I just want big damage. What's bigger damage? Firecracker's bigger damage, but I want Secret Blast on top. Set. No, set the top. Set the top. Set the top. We still go to end phase. Because if so, I'm using Backjack's other effect. Okay. Well, the idea was to use Backjack and Banish. Let's see if I could have finished it off. Let's look at the top card of my deck. Oh, hey, it's Secret Blast. Secret Blast would have then gone to Spell and Trap Zone. I would have set that. I would have started my turn, had Firecracker here. I would have drawn with Reckless Greed. And this, of course, assuming they don't have a hand card to stop me or their set card. I would have drawn into Duality and Dimension Wall. Dimension Wall, having 2 of them is great for later, especially if they don't have Spell or Trap Destruction. And if they did, they likely would have used it, I would think. I wasn't going to Special Summon, so after this I would have played Pot of Duality. Banish the top 3. See it just deserts. I probably would have taken that because that's instant damage. Actually, if the opponent draws a card inflict 100. Can I normal summon in this turn? I think Firecracker just stops. What does it stop? Skip my next draw phase, which I was going to skip anyway. Which I think Firecracker stacks with Reckless. I would have taken Lazion, because that's 1,000 damage. Then... still 35 to deal. I would have waited with Secret Battle until their turn. With Secret Blast, probably still till their turn as well, till I have more on the field. So I would have set the Dimension Wall. I would have waited with Firecracker because that's a quick effect I can use during either player's turn. I would normal summon Lazion. I would have attacked. All these 4 cards would have gone into the deck, which actually would have allowed them to use the 7th one a second time. Or no, it's once per duel, isn't it? Yeah. Otherwise, it would have been possible a second time, which would have been interesting. But that would have put those cards back in the deck. Actually, what's the point? Actually, to just make them draw things that don't do anything. But that would have put them back in the deck. They're still at 35. However, they would have drawn. Lazion's effect put them at 25. I had Firecracker to make it 15 at whichever point I felt appropriate, which would have just been somewhere during their turn. Now, Lazion doesn't take battle damage against it. So likely Dimension Walls would have wait until the turn after. But let's say they just kept their field as is. They would have just drawn, maybe switched radius to the fence. Let's assume they had nothing else. Then barrel would have still been 1,000 damage because of 200 for every card, which would be 5 in total after they draw. So that's 1,000 from Lazion, 1,000 from Firecracker, 1,000 from Barrel, taking them down to 500. And then Secret Blast, with them having 2 cards on the field, would have been another 600. And then I still had Dimension Wall face down, maybe backjack to get something later on. It seemed pretty likely that I would win. Now that this is over, I apologize for it being a short one, but I can't really go for a longer one for where Duel really goes to full, due to the fact that I have dinner soon and have some other things for university to prepare later today. But I do want to talk to you now about that server that I was talking about at the start of the video. As I said, I have a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament server. And the idea behind this is, now potentially this has been done somewhere on YouTube or somewhere on some kind of Yu-Gi-Oh! Forums already, but this is my idea that I would take a tournament where not all cards are available. Instead, I would choose, let's say, 1 to 3 main sets. So with main sets, you have to think something like Abyss Rising or Cosmo Blazar, which are things from Zexal, or what's that name of a pretty recent set? Something like Soul Fusion or Savage Strike, or something really old. Now, I'm more likely, I think, to choose some of the older ones than the newer ones, because the newer ones allow a bunch of combos. If I choose one of the newer ones, I'll probably just choose that one thing. But yeah, 1 to 3 main sets. It'll depend. It'll be different every tournament. And then alongside that, I may also take a starter or structure deck, let's say starter deck 2009 or structure deck, some kind of fire deck, I don't know. And then a subset such as Astral Pack 2. Then the players in the tournament, the participants, have to make a deck from just the cards available in those sets. Generally, things in starter or structure decks work pretty well together, at least, especially in structure decks. And in main sets, let's say, I think in Cosmo Blazar, that's where the Fire Fist deck was introduced. Sure, it doesn't have all the support, especially with recent ones, but there is some support for, let's say, Firefist. You could have Firefist as your main engine in that deck. So you would have to build a deck with that, and that means that every tournament there is a new meta, if you really want to even call it meta, but there's a new format in terms of what is available, and I think that is really cool. I think this is the part that is really close to like sealed and draft play, which I do quite a lot of in Legacy of the Duelist on the Switch. By the way, great game. Because that makes the format very different, not as combo heavy. Sure, some of these tournaments may be a little more combo heavy than others. It really just depends on the packs I select. Now, the packs I select aren't just my choice. In the end, I have the final say in it, but everyone in the server, especially the tournament participants, can suggest things in terms of what they want and what they don't want to see. Now, it is possible that I believe it's in Soul Fusion that a lot of the Thunder Dragon archetype is in. If not all of it, I think most of the Thunder Dragon archetype is in Soul Fusion. So would I ever choose to set Soul Fusion, then it's probably going to be Thunder Dragons everywhere. And that's just going to be the best deck, and the rest of the cards are just like, eh. Even if you don't have the full Thunder Dragon archetype, there's still most of them there, and that's just going to be the great deck. So, to prevent such things from happening where one, like, archetype or something like that is too overpowered, like, sure, there can be some things that are a little overpowered, not too overpowered. The Forbidden Unlimited list. I intend to stick to the Forbidden Unlimited list that is available at that time. And I will likely, once again, with suggestions from other participants and other people in the server, I can add things to it. So let's say Thunder Dragon Duo. Let's say that's considered, or Thunder Dragon Dark. Let's say Thunder Dragon Dark is a card that we feel is just too good. We might put that to limited, or we might put something else as semi-limited. Something I'm considering too, but this really just depends on tests in the first few tournaments and feedback from other people in the server, is that I make the Forbidden Limited list work like in Duel Links. So not, let's say, Dark Hole and Raigeki. Let's say they're both available. You can use one Dark Hole and one Raigeki in your deck, as would be in the standard Forbidden Limited list TCG rulings. But in Duel Links, you can only have one limited card of anything in your deck. So even though Dark Hole is available and Raigeki is available, and then with limited, you can only use one or the other. So let's say Dark Hole is there and Raigeki is there, and then we make Thunder Dragon Dark limited, as an example, then you could use either one of Dark Hole, one of Raigeki, or one of Thunder Dragon Dark, and no other limited cards. Similarly, with semi-limited cards, you can only have a maximum of 2. So you can't choose 2 of the same semi-limited card, or you could just choose one of each of 2 different semi-limited cards. That is an idea. I'm not saying that will happen in all tournaments, but it is something I'm considering. I'm also considering keeping the standard TCG list as its own, I suppose, entity, and just adding on to that with my own Forbidden Limited list. And only the things that I add work like in Duel Links, or maybe they just all work like the standard Forbidden Limited list that we know in the standard TCG, where you can still use one of every limited card. But yeah, that's basically the idea that I have now. They won't be live tournaments. They will be similar to the Pokemon tournaments. If you know the Pokemon tournaments that I pretty regularly host, these will be similar in the sense that we will have Swiss to start off with, and then a top cut depending on the amount of participants in Swiss. And every round you will have 3 days to schedule and complete your match, which is 72 hours. Extensions, I suppose, are possible, but I prefer them not to happen. So 72 hours per round. So if you think, oh yeah, but I have school and I have some schoolwork, but you feel like you do have some free time in which you can and want to play your matches, then you can join as well. Now, if you join the server, you don't have to join every tournament. You can just join one every 2 tournaments, or you can join and then only join in on the tournaments that happen in the winter, because then you have more time. That is completely up to you. Someone did already ask me, someone who's in there, I think, or someone who wanted to join, what are the prizes? I'm not going to give out any physical prizes. I'm not going to give out any donation codes, any like PayPal money, anything like that. There aren't such prizes. It's really just a for fun tournament in that sense. I do have a Hall of Fame in the Discord server where the top 3 and their decks will be listed as sort of a to always be remembered. Thing is, that Hall of Fame, calling it Hall of Fame, is based on the Pokemon thing with Hall of Fame. I'm trying to come up with a Yu-Gi-Oh equivalent of Hall of Fame, but I think I'll just keep Hall of Fame. I think that sounds pretty cool, and it sounds like exactly what it needs to be. Hall of Fame, the famous people that won the tournaments or at least got into top 3, and the decks that they used. So, summary. I have a Yu-Gi-Oh tournament server where I use main sets, potential subset, and starter deck or structure deck, and you have to make your deck out of that. Every tournament will have different cards available. If you are interested in joining one or some of these tournaments, then please use the link in the description. There will be a permanent invite link to my Discord server there. I'd really love for you to join them. I started the server only yesterday. I'm trying to gather some people, and then I intend to start the registration for the first tournament later this week. So if you join early, not only will you be able to join in the first tournament, but also have suggestions in what packs I use for the first duel. I think I will be I'll be participating in the tournaments myself as well, and I do intend at the moment to make duel videos out of them because they're tournaments and they're competitive. I won't be commentating them on them live like I do with my standard duel videos. I'll likely take the replays and just talk over the replays like I did with my Pokemon tournament videos as well. That is my intention. So come on, join my Discord server. The link is in the description. I hope to see a lot of you there, and I hope that everyone else is looking forward to quite a lot more Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel videos. Until next time, see you then.